Now, Cowboys. What an affair.
I guess, man. Obviously, when you have a near walk-off.
As they say, win's a win.
I know, but this team, man, they're just so aggressively boring.
Such a boring game.
They're
such
so
an ugly game.
Even every one of the wins. Well,
what a beating last night, too. That weather delay, man.
Yeah, I didn't finish it last night.
Well, I wouldn't have.
I know.
Were we not live stream? In fact, I thought about heading upstairs at halftime and just leaving the live stream to everybody else.
Yes, it was boring. Just like the Giants game. You know, Cleveland, obviously they put it on Cleveland, but we now know that Cleveland has the worst quarterback in the NFL.
It's crazy.
And their coach is in disarray, or the team's in disarray, the relationship with the coach.
Yeah.
That's the only time they looked legit. You know, they're apparently a pretty decidedly average team when healthy. And then when they're not, they're below average. And I think the Steelers are just okay. You know, they were 3-1, but
yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't thinking they were anything special.
No, probably a bubble playoff team, and that's probably where the Cowboys actually are.
Yeah.
We had thoughts in our mind going into the season that they were more than that. Although you kind of look across the NFC, no one's really jumping out. I mean, well, Minnesota's obviously jumping out.
Yeah, but the problem is if you wanted to make a case for another one, that one is in your division and has been a damn sleeping giant. Maybe that's not even the way to put it for 20 years now, outside of a brief RG3 period.
Yeah, their defense is
freaking new owner. They got DQ, they got Cliff, and now they have a dude that I would be shocked if he's not like an all-pro at first or second team perennial by the end of 2 years from now. Maybe this year.
Jaden Daniels?
Yeah. I mean, you don't put those type of performances up and then just suddenly suck.
Well, don't you think of RG3 and his body type and wonder, can he survive? I don't know. He looks small. He looks slight.
He does.
I'm interested to see how he does when Cliff gets another head coaching job and a different coordinator gets in there. So, because I think he's made perfectly for Cliff's system.
They've also helped him out a little bit.
Kyler's best year was with Cliff.
That's true. But they went and got Eckler. They've got McLaurin. Hell, they may go get Devontae Adams.
That would suck.
Yeah, it would suck. The division is getting better.
Don't you think the Cowboys should be after Devontae Adams?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I would, if they're talking about a second plus extra compensation, I would make that call, get it done today. You're not going to be able to run the ball like you did last night, but maybe 3 other times this year.
And it's not like they went nuts last night running the ball.
It just wasn't god-awful, you know? Basically, the one thing I want to say before we get into the game specifically is almost everything we talked about in the offseason is being laid bare for all to see. You can't start 2 rookie offensive linemen and just completely ignore running back. As we've joked about before, where, you know, the whole running backs don't matter thing as a hyperbole. It's really just don't spend too much on it. And they were like, what if we did nothing?
Right. Running backs don't matter as much as the Cowboys had been treating them as mattering.
And they might matter more when you have 2 rookie offensive linemen. So if you're going to go with bring in no running back.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about Derrick Henry.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. Obviously, you probably saw him against the Cowboys, but I don't know if you've seen him elsewhere, but he's been going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, the run yesterday to set up the field goal. The first couple weeks were a little figure-out-ish, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you knew they would.
Which seems like the whole NFL, it must be because of lack of preseason. But the first few weeks are figure-out-ish, like you say. And now we're kind of seeing where everybody is slotting in. And we're trying to figure out where do the Cowboys slot in. And I think they do slot in just like a average team.
Well, I think with the extra game and the extra playoff team, you don't need to be gung-ho ready for week 1. I think you need to be playing your best football towards the end. So
for sure. If they can say, but how are they going to do that if it's a war of attrition and they just keep, injuries are piling up and you're lucky that you have some of these injuries now, perhaps.
Well, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that DeMarcus Lawrence won't be injured again at the end of the year.
No, you're right. I'm saying for good teams like Baltimore, who should compete for a conference championship.
Yeah, they started out 0-2.
Yeah, they're fine now.
I mean, to be honest with you, the Bengals at 1-4 are not a bad team. They may be an average team, but they're not a bad team. They could easily reel off 4 straight against bad offenses and be 5-5.
Yeah, because they're about to hit their 4th place schedule, I think.
Yeah.
Because they've already played the Chiefs and Ravens.
Yeah. And
Browns
you look at what the Cowboys have coming up.
Yeah.
There's not a game here outside of Carolina where I could guarantee you that they'll be favored.
No, we asked the other day, which of the next 5 or 6 games
Yeah.
are the Cowboys' favorite?
Well, I know the ESPN put their egghead nerds on it because I had to watch Get Up for 15 minutes every morning to stay up with sports. And they were sub 50% in every single one of them.
I guess the good thing about being in rehab and having to just watch ESPN is they do cover they treat the Cowboys as if they're located in Dallas.
Every day.
Yeah.
They lead with it every day.
So that keeps you in the know.
It's annoying
on what's
the way
going
they
on
talk
with the
about
Cowboys.
It, yeah, for sure.
But when you say they're not going to face very many other teams, they're going to be able to run like that. That is implying the Cowboys had this great rushing night, and they did. They rushed for 109 yards.
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle, even though we're watching him thinking, whoa, this is amazing. Rico Dowdle is doing this. He had 87 yards.
Yeah, it was 3.5 a carry.
On 20 carries. So they didn't really have a great rushing night.
Well, part of the reason they don't have a great rushing night is because they have the worst running back in the league who gets regular carries on their team.
Would you say that's Zeke or
Rico?
No. The
Lipke?
no,
Deuce Vaughn?
Deuce. They were trying to force Deuce down our throats for a few weeks.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Until yesterday, they're like, you know what? We're done. We're just
last week it was
he's not even active yesterday.
Last week it was CD. Right?
As I'm going to try and make him the running back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Zeke is so washed, man. It's not even.
Did you like the play where they threw him a pass and he ducked?
That was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet.
What were the announcers saying about that?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Do you?
Because we weren't able to.
It was like a swing pass, right?
No.
It was kind of a panic.
Right across the middle.
Oh, okay.
It looked like a little option thing. He was kind of crossing with another receiver, and he ducked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh, that could almost hit me in numbers. I got to get out of the way.
I think Zeke was thinking Dak was throwing that to Ferguson, and he needed to get out of his way.
Yeah, that's
But
usually
fell
what that
well
is.
short of his tight end.
That's usually what it is.
If you remember on that play, that was the one where they rushed to the line. To try to save some time. Maybe they thought that the previous play was going to be reviewed,
yes,
or to catch them off guard. And Zeke ran in at the last minute and had no idea what was going on and had to go up to Dak and talk to him. And that's what happened. That was the play. They rushed to execute that play, and it completely fell apart.
Yeah. They did that twice.
They did.
One of them was the intentional grounding.
Yep.
Yeah. Where it's like 3rd and 1, and they go, hurry up. Maybe they thought there was a review, I guess. But on the replay, it looked like they had the catch, and then he just airmailed one and got an intentional grounding. So, yeah, that's cool.
Or you're trying to catch them, not being able to sub, but then, I mean, my goodness, you just throw it away, you get 4th and 1, you probably go for it. Intentional grounding is the worst that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to your point, if you wanted this genius move of not letting them sub and the best you could do is throw it to a guy in the stands, then I'm not sure that not having a sub was that important.
Right.
No,
I'd rather just call a good play.
Well, Dowdle took himself out of the game, and Zeke ran in. Number one, they were hurrying up. Dowdle pointed to himself and exited the game for I don't know why. Maybe he was tired from the previous play. Mm-hmm. Zeke's running in and has no idea what's going on, and that's when that play went down.
Yeah, they're a boring, average team, and then without.
Like, that's what the Steelers are.
Yeah.
The Steelers are a boring, grinded-out, average team who kind of figures enough things out to barely be over 500 or 500 every year and then get bounced in the playoffs.
That's what it feels like to be the majority of NFL teams, man.
That's what you're looking at with the Cowboys right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it is Justin Fields, and he had a couple of pretty poor throws last night. A couple solid ones. But I feel like with him, they do at least have some big play potential.
With Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Just his legs?
His legs, he gets outside the pocket. And by the way, we were talking Jaden Daniels. It's it's pretty obvious that every team with a quarterback that runs knows that when they really need it, they can do it twice in a row and get a first down, right? I mean, that was even Danny Dimes, I feel like.
Yeah, he had a great game, yes.
Yeah. But I just mean Jaden Daniels is going to be – he feels like baby Lamar to me, but a little bit smaller. And the Cowboys are clearly incapable of stopping that. So the Steelers' offense, I would still take Dallas's, but they seem vaguely more exciting. Dallas is throwing it to freaking Bruce Spann or whatever for 4 or 5 yards. Spanford is their like bread and butter. Just boring, you know? The whole offense is bland. You look at all these other teams and like their motion rates. And I wrote down after week 1, like, is Mike Shanahan the grandfather of all modern NFL offense? Because all those guys came through his system, you know? You're all of them now. And the Cowboys just don't look anything like that. Lack of motion. They don't have a second wide receiver, although Turpin might be an upgrade over Cooks, with Cooks being out. But neither one of them are.
That's tough, yeah.
Look around the league and find
so tiny.
Look around the league and find other wide receiver 2s and think about where the Cowboys rank. Look at the Texans, who they're about to see.
Nico Collins is there too. The Bengals, T. Higgins.
Tank Dell is their 3.
Yeah.
Nico Collins might be their 1. But they have a lot of deficiencies, and their quarterback is good but not good enough to do it on his own. And when they go 9-8 or 8-9, they will blame everything on him. Despite 2 rookie offensive linemen, despite not signing a running back.
Well, that's what you get when you're the highest paid quarterback in NFL history.
You're going to have to elevate these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to make those around you better. And I guess that's the trade-off, you know, if you did want to actually give some kind of a hometown discount, where that's not on Dak. It's not on Dak to do that. But, I mean, you do talk about Tom Brady, and he was never the highest-paid quarterback in the NFL. In fact, he was always millions under that, you know, per year.
It's a bit of an anomaly, but because nobody else really has done that.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
But and you know why Dak doesn't do it is because he doesn't trust Jerry and Steven. And he shouldn't. Because they lie to the players. They lie to all the players about, oh, well, we only have so much we can spend. Even Jerry saying after
Derrick Henry,
the Baltimore game that we couldn't have afforded Derrick Henry. Well, yeah, you could have had you signed Dak and CD to the contracts that you ended up signing them for. That's what they were asking for back then. So you could have signed them in the spring. You would have moved money around, and you would have had a lot more cap room. But he's right in the sense that they couldn't sign Derrick Henry at that time because they didn't have these other deals done, and Dak was going to count, $50 million towards the cap this year. Now he doesn't.
Yeah, no, the whole thing was sequenced as poorly as some of their play calling sequences are. Where you're like, what if you did that first?
Yeah.
Then wouldn't that have made the later thing easier?
And go back to when Dak was drafted, he was clearly not their first or second choice. And then every time,
keep going.
Every time he's you come up for negotiations, it's been pulling teeth. So why the hell should he help the Cowboys?
Yeah, they made that trade for Trey Lance. Yeah. I firmly believe they've made that trade partly with the thought of maybe this guy will just take over for Dak, and we're going to let Dak walk. And at the very worst, we're at least going to show Dak that we're not all on board with him, and you might want to sign. And none of it worked. And now he's worthless. The fact that he can't beat out Cooper Rush in 2 years makes his trade value 0. Right. Everybody's saying, oh, Miami, you should trade him to Miami because Tua, and they got no backups. Why would Miami give you anything?
Yeah.
You know that he'll get cut at the end of this year. Why would they give anything?
See, that's why
Trey Lance.
And this never works out. I don't know why, other than like I grew up a huge Cordell Stewart fan. But I can sell myself every season on about a little sub package for the running quarterback.
You know,
that's Trey Lance
I've heard that
inside the 10, you know?
That makes a lot of sense.
Nobody ever actually does it, or they do it in such a way that they never actually commit to it. They do it 3 times a year.
But you saw him in training camp, right?
That's what I'm saying.
He made some of the most exciting plays they had.
In preseason, yeah, in games, training camp, and
That's what I mean, preseason.
yeah. But even in training camp, there were a couple plays he would make, and you're like, that's the fastest guy on the team.
Yeah.
I guess Taysom Hill's the only other
Taysom
guy,
Hill is,
but he has other value.
He plays regular snaps.
Right.
That's the thing. And there, many Saints fans are tired of the Taysom Hill.
Suit up Deuce
experience,
Vaughn
too.
for a few weeks. You could suit up Trey Lance.
Especially if you're going to give up a pick and guarantee his salary for the full year. Disaster. There's no way that Rico Dowdle and
Suit him up as the
Zeke-
backup quarterback.
yeah.
Let him return kicks.
Why not?
Let him return. Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't do it, but in a perfect
A
world.
little throwback or something. Spice this thing up.
Yeah, and then you've got obviously no Parsons, no no Lawrence. Then you lose Nealand, and then even the first 4 weeks, it's not like they were getting a ton of pressure.
Mm-mm.
They were getting just absolutely swallowed by other offensive lines.
Well, they're losing.
Yeah, it's true too. Yeah, and that is the biggest thing. And I know Blake's pointed that out forever. Is that if they can't get a lead, the whole thing gets out of whack. Because now you can't go, NASCAR mode and put 5 pass rushers out there. It's really interesting how much the Cowboys represent the change in the – I don't think the word really is circular. I think it's more like evolution of the NFL. And we'd seen this coming. Everybody started equipping their defenses to play essentially spread offenses. And I remember watching a game a few years ago. I think it was Arkansas A&M at the Death Star. And A&M was under Kevin Sumlin. And they were playing all these SEC teams that ran the spread. Alabama wasn't there yet. And then Arkansas still ran the ball, as one of the few SEC teams did. The Aggies could do nothing about it because they had geared their offense to have 5-6 defensive backs on the field and have to cover slot receivers. And then Arkansas would line up with 2 tight ends or 1 tight end and a fullback and just hammer the shit out of them. And it's like the guy trying to tackle him weighs 200 pounds instead of 240. And you see that in the NFL now, is that everybody's like, we got to rush the passer and defend the pass.
And play 2 safeties back.
Play 2 safeties, give nothing up.
So the Cowboys are always kind of lagging behind what's going on?
Of course.
Newsflash. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, because they have to catch up to it and realize
On
oh
both
my
sides
gosh,
of the ball. Now as the NFL is like, maybe we could try to get ahead of this. And
by the time they reconfigure everything, the NFL will have gone the other way.
Yeah, now everyone is motion and wide zone runs, and the Cowboys are still trying to play with 2 tight ends, which was a decade ago. Yeah, behind the 8 ball again.
It sucks. But who knows? I mean, maybe they get healthy, and like Dan said, the NFC is not exactly a juggernaut, top-heavy situation right now. So
No, I still think they'll make the playoffs. And, yeah, you've got other teams have problems too. That doesn't make – and I've long liked to say I like to look at other people with problems to make me feel better about my own situation.
Hoping I did a little bit of that for you today.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not in rehab, honey.
He's been on cloud 9 for
My
a
wife's
month.
complaining to me about this or that. I'm like, I could be in rehab. What then? What would you think if that was the case?
Yeah, but then you'd be gone for 4 weeks. You might like that.
No, she likes him. It's him that would want to. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. William Pace.
Have you guys
right
been
now.
vibing lately?
No.
That was a random?
He's it'd be a 45-minute call if I was to answer that call.
Yes, other teams are also.
Oh, yeah. San Francisco lost yesterday.
They have an
They're now
excuse.
2-3. They do have some pretty hardcore injuries.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about Dak, though. Just because, again, his numbers look good and he won the game. So in the end, that's what you want. Quarterbacks always get the wins or losses. And he did pass for 352 yards in bad weather conditions. So you're like, oh, okay. But he did not have a good game.
No.
Like, kind of had a terrible game. What was the situation with CeeDee Lamb and him? Was it his second interception or his first one?
The first one, I believe.
And then CD was
It
like
was in
kind
the
of barking at him coming off the field.
left
like
corner of the end zone.
That was arguably the worst interception of his career.
Double cover. Like, I don't know what he was thinking. He obviously, they showed the replay. He dropped back and stared him down.
No pressure.
No pressure. He knew exactly where he was going to throw, and why would he throw over there? It was so covered.
And weren't they on the 15?
Yeah, they're in the red zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many red zone problems? I mean, they got so lucky at the end there. I'll tell you what, everybody in the den, we were so dying to not have overtime because it was already 90 minutes delayed.
Oh, yeah.
And, people have got a long drive home, and it's
you guys are heroes. Purple Heart for that one.
After midnight. And I haven't seen After Midnight in the longest time. And I'm 3 beers deep.
Oh yeah,
3 beers and a Lucy.
Blackout.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I popped a few of those Lucy's in.
Yeah, it was 2nd and 5, the 15, that pick.
Wait, real quick, talk about lucky. Dak on that 1st and goal run on the last drive.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to stretch the ball out.
Right.
And
at first, we were crediting him
really
for not
lucky
doing it.
Yeah, that he did not fumble that into the end zone.
He was going to do a Derek Carr. Was it Derek Carr a few years ago did that against the Cowboys?
Yeah, Jeff Heath.
Yeah. Trying to reach over the goal line and end up fumbling it through the end zone, and then you give them the ball and all that.
Yeah,
that almost happened.
He had a pretty uneven night. The strip sack fumble, obviously it's counted as a Dak turnover, but also they were off and on getting freaking manhandled by the Steelers front. I mean,
Terrence Steele can't play.
We might have gotten in over our skis on our boy. Terrence Steele's a plus starter because it's a crazy story. He didn't play that much. It wasn't on anybody's draft board. Goes undrafted. Didn't have a great combine, or maybe it was Senior Bowl or something. It's like, man, Texas Tech made good. And then they started him right away, and we're like, you sure about that? And he did okay, and he got a contract, but now it's not looking great.
Yeah, we noticed before the game they'll throw the PFF grades up.
Yeah.
And it's all just 30 out of 36, 70 out of 100.
And then Zach Martin.
Yeah, Zach Martin's good. There's one other. Maybe Ferguson is good, but outside of that, Guyton, not good.
He had a tough night, which ultimately means he left the game, right?
Yeah, which I think you nailed. Tyler Smith, made them think that they were better at drafting offensive linemen than they are.
They've been pretty good at it. But
Tyler Smith was
you're still going to have
play
your misses
right away.
Yeah.
And so then they thought, okay, well, we'll just draft 2 offensive linemen and start them right away because we're really good at this.
And the other thing too is which one was it? Oh yeah, they were saved by a hold. It was right before the end of the 3rd quarter, and maybe the reason you're holding the ball is because there was a hold. So sometimes it's frustrating if you just look at the quarterback and you're like, why didn't you get rid of the ball? And they go holding. You're like, maybe that was why.
Oh, when Dak fell down.
But on 3rd and 7 from the 38, yeah, it's like you're already in Aubrey's range. So do we really need to take a sack here? Mm-hmm. Now, they got saved by it, and he added the nice find to Dowdle to score on that drive. But I feel like he is in the mindset that he has to kind of hero ball out.
Yeah.
And he might be right. The problem is that's just a very risk-reward, high-variance type way to approach offense,
Especially when your weapons are as limited as his are.
Yeah. God, man, if they just – that's why I'm ready to, as Charlie would say, cut the brakes, wild card bitches, just go get Devontae Adams and become a team that throws the ball 50 times a game every game.
Agree.
Just do it.
Yes.
Jerry's itching to do it. People are like, oh, this team – they are still talking about him, but they're boring. And there's a lot of other NFL teams that are getting pretty excited right now, in big markets no less. If they would just do it, scratch the itch, give them a second, screw it. McCarthy's probably gone if they don't make the playoffs or progress anyways. You'll figure out the cap number because you're going to restructure Dak next year anyways. You're going to have to with him and CD just to keep Parsons. So just go fuck it mode. You know what? That's what they call it. That's what they call it in treatment. You need to be very aware of fuck it mode. No,
really?
No. I'm saying it's fuck it mode time. They got to do it.
It's funny you're saying all this after a win.
Yeah, but you do the Giants game and then this. You look at it, you're just like, this is not the same team.
Mm-mm. You're not beating Detroit with that last night.
Detroit coming off a bye. I don't like the chances.
Real quick, we didn't mention this, but some people were thinking CD was yelling at Dak on the sideline after the interception.
I have the audio. I mean, obviously not the audio of CD, but them trying to talk about it.
Well, lip readers, I mean, they figured out what he was saying.
Jump ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not a blow up on the sideline at all.
There's a couple. I think it's a little open to interpretation, and I agree that he's saying jump ball 4, jump ball, I got you. That's what it really looks like. Other people have been saying they ran it by another lip reader that said it could be something that was a little less, I don't know, benign. It's in that article that I sent you. Let me pull it up.
The one that I
exactly
saw
what
was
it was he said, or they thought he might have said.
Subpar tonight.
Yeah, subpar tonight.
Which, if you,
it doesn't look like he's saying that.
To me, when you have that in your head, just sort of like,
I don't think that sounds like something CD Lamb would say.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah, is that if you match it up with his mouth, you're like, oh, I could see that. And then I think about hearing CD Lamb talk before, and I just don't think he's saying that.
Subpar
Tonight. How do you do?
Maybe mid, bro.
Yeah.
Let's hear what Collinsworth said about it.
Okay, yeah.
You got it pulled
up. There's a couple funny parts of this here.
So the last time out there, Dallas had the interception, right? With Dak Prescott in the direction of CD Lamb.
Hard to explain. Just thrown into coverage and something's wrong. CD Lamb, at the end of that, I'll let you read your own lips at Dak. Dak doesn't react at all. Doesn't look good.
Not a bit. Not a bit.
Read your own lips is obviously a weird misspeak.
Maybe read CD's lips for yourself.
Read his lips for yourself.
Yeah. Not read your own lips.
And then, so the jump ball 4 thing, you would think that Dak would look up at him, kind of shake, and he would give him the fist. He'd fist him, fist bump.
He was looking at his iPad.
Yeah.
And the camera stayed on him, and he did nod his head at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, I hear you, man. He didn't make eye contact, but he's multitasking too.
And yeah, I mean, I was gone during the CD mini meltdown that we had in week, was it 2 or 3?
Pouting CD, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know what happened next game?
They gave him the ball like 20 times.
We so predicted it, man. I mean,
the TO special.
100%.
Yeah, that's where we should be putting our gambling money, like on CD
over-unders.
20 targets.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be CD. I mean, if you did this throughout the year and you just did whatever the media
thing blows up on a Tuesday.
Yeah, go for it.
By Sunday, we're going to take care of it, and we will address what the media has talked about. I wanted to get into more game audio if we have it, and game audio today is going to be brought to us by Ownwell.
Ooh.
That is the place that can get you the reduction on property taxes. It is October, and I'll bet I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jake, since you've got back, but you're back now. Mm-hmm. Now you got to deal with stuff like in the real world,
like property tax bills.
That's right. And every time you open one of those, you're like, no way. There's no way. And then they're like, yeah, way. You just pay it because it's the government. I mean, I guess you could fight it on a bigger level and, write your congressman and all that kind of stuff.
But hey, that sounds fun.
Well, that's going to take a long time. You know, it's going to take you like 5 minutes. Going to ownwell.com and you sign up. And what you do is they'll work on reducing your property taxes, and they will only get paid if they get you money back. So if they look into it and they can't get you your property tax reduced, you pay them nothing except that 5 minutes that you spent.
Yeah, nothing to lose there.
But if you give them if they get you $1,000 back, they take a very small percentage. In fact, it's the smallest on the market. There are other guys who say they do this, but Ownwell will do it right, and they'll take the smallest amount on the market.
25%.
Yeah.
And I spent the time. I wrote out a handwritten letter. I did the whole thing trying to fight my property taxes. Didn't work. But in 5 minutes, Ownwell saved me a little chunk of change.
That means you are part of the 86% of customers that receive a reduction.
I was.
In Dallas alone, average savings of $420.
Whoa. Ownwell.com. They have like a special website just for us. Ownwell.com/partners/thedumbzone. And we'll put that up on our promo code page as well.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I did that yet. on dumbzone.com. But ownwell.com/partners/thedumbzone.
And I see, what these government agencies are trying to do. It's October. You want to watch ball on the weekend. Arguably the best month in the calendar.
So you're just going to
what if we just screw them up during that?
Well,
you might not.
You're going to just not even pay attention. I'll just
we'll hit them while they're looking the other way.
Yeah. Can't trust
Let
the
Ownwell
government.
handle it. You can trust them.
Yeah, ownwell.com. Oh, you know what? Actually, before more audio, did you see the last thing of the game?
I guess
when
not.
the Cowboys recovered, was it Jordan Lewis that kind of recovered the?
Yeah.
They were doing the Stanford play, the pitching, and all that kind of stuff. Was it George Pickens?
Yeah.
So Jordan Lewis recovers it. He's celebrating. He goes and kind of puts his chest and then his face right into George Pickens' face, like taunting.
Yeah.
If that was done during the course of play, he would have been flagged for taunting. So George Pickens thought, well, I'll do something that could be flagged if it was done during the course of play. He just reached up, grabbed his face mask, and yanked him down. And then his momentum, Jordan Lewis's momentum, he was running, and he just fell right.
It was really funny.
It is very funny, but it's funny also just to see internet react to that.
Yeah, and then there was did you see Jordan Lewis in the tunnel?
Yeah, they had a lot of tunnel shots.
Yeah.
What was he doing there? Just yelling?
Talking trash on Pickens.
Oh, that's not playing through here, is it? I don't know why that's not playing.
Change your output.
Yeah, it's okay. The Pittsburgh need a new receiver. George Pickens weak.
Yeah, George Pickens weak.
And I believe, if we were to rank our favorite Cowboys right now, after Obbs, you don't got to go too far to get to J. Lou.
I love Jordan Lewis, man.
Yeah, he's our guy.
Overshown's beasting too.
Yeah, that's one of the few bright spots they have right now. Is it after the medical redshirt year? That guy looks like he did in college, where he was a kind of a player without position, but he was a badass at Texas.
He looks like he wants to be involved.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the few guys when I watch the Cowboys.
That's a good way to put it.
It looks like he really likes being there.
He's a nice guy, too. He was very kind to us. Remember training camp?
I do. He was awesome.
We were going to play this last week, but he made a couple of really good tackles against the Giants, and he was like, man, I went up against Bijan Robinson every day in practice. I got this. I thought, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One of the best running backs every day at Texas.
He does have good tackling fundamentals.
He's a linebacker.
Pretty rare.
There's not that many of them left. I mean, he's a little smaller than maybe your linebacker of 15 years ago, but he truly plays like a linebacker, not a safety playing linebacker or an edge they make play linebacker. Let's see. Other audio.
You want to do it now or you want to do it after a break? You pick.
How about we do it after a break?
Hey, let me tell you quickly before we do audio about Prosper Ford. It's in Prosper. Chaz Gilmore.
I know
very
Chaz
well.
Gilmore.
You've bought a vehicle from Chaz Gilmore.
I have. I was so happy to get back to it.
I bought 4 from from Chaz over the years. But Prosper Ford is their newest and you might say bestest building. Built Ford proud. Gorgeous showroom, state-of-the-art service department. It is in Prosper, 380 and the Tollway. It's also at prosperford.com. Chaz, I don't know. This might not be important to you. Maybe you just want to save every cent, which I think you will at Prosper Ford as well. I think they'll match or beat any deal out there, but he's just a good dude. Ask people who don't know anything about you or your association with Chaz that you know him from here, and just ask what do they think about Chaz Gilmore. He's awesome, and we like to work with good dudes. We like to work with good people. He's wonderful to work with all these years, and you can go check out prosperford.com. It's beautiful. Big savings. Save big on your next car. Fair trade-in value. Fast trade-in value as well. So check out Prosper Ford and prosperford.com.
Man, you know how there's a term in sociology for this, I'm pretty sure, or psychology rather, where like when your girlfriend would break up with you in high school and then you would see her make, model, and color of car everywhere.
Yeah.
That's how I felt kind of about my my Chaz Gilmore Ford Explorer.
Then you start noticing
Well,
like you notice the Prosper Ford or the Grapevine Ford tags on the.
Well, yeah, and I think for me also the white Explorer is almost like the fleet vehicle of the day. So if you have
DFW
of like a city water department or a treatment facility, so every car there, I'm like, my car. Maybe I'm no,
wasn't your car.
It was not my car. It's not my car.
Audio? Is that what we're doing now?
Yes,
I do.
Audio. Yeah, I got a little bit more for you here. This one, Danny was on most of this, but
how'd you guys like Collinsworth? And
I thought he was clean, man.
Was he good?
Yeah,
I thought him and Tirico were actually pretty clean. I felt I listened with a very scrutinous ear, and I was just kind of like, man, am I missing stuff?
I'll tell you this.
He wasn't that bad.
I'll tell you this. He and Al had more fun.
Yeah, he's not bad. I like Collinsworth a lot. This guy, I love him. He's announcing. He's doing the slide in. He used to do the slide in. He doesn't do it anymore because he doesn't respect his new partner. He's like, who's this clown? I've been here.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like Tirico is obviously a venerable broadcaster, but Al and him would kind of dick around a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tirico has to play it straight because, I mean, he didn't do this to me last night.
He's a haircut.
I was getting in my car during the game at halftime to go pick up some milk, and I saw Mike Tirico on my street. He did not jump in my car and try to finger me.
Oh, that's good because he did that to someone else.
He did. He did at an ESPN party, so he's got to play it safe now. You know, little room for error when you're the jump in the car and try to finger somebody guy. It's not as fun as it was with Al. And it sucks so bad, too, because Al and Herbie remain the worst crew in America. It's such a beating. It's such a beating, and it's so obvious that I'm sitting here watching game day at, you know, hell, this week they went live from Berkeley at what, 6 a.m. for game day? Then he's got to call a game, and then I have to expect to believe that he's prepared for an NFL game on Thursday. He's
clearly not. Did you see him do the Cowboy game?
Yeah.
We covered that where he referred to half of their players by their numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, how about okay, you only saw the Cleveland game with us.
Mm-hmm.
Brady's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he got good.
Begrudgingly.
By week 3, he's as good as anybody at that job.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because I root for, you know, of course he's not going to fail. He's a great baseball player.
Right, he's hot.
Yeah.
He's perfect at everything.
But this is kind of a funny Collinsworth moment. They're trying this is what I would call trying to have chemistry.
You explain that C-gap deal there with TJ over there?
Yeah. So the C-gap is just this gap right here. There's nobody there, right? Here and here. And a lot of times people go, well, of course I'm going to be able to run in that gap. Well, then T.J. Watt, in this particular case, in this play, he loops down inside. He has it covered. So there you go. C-gap. You love it?
C and T.J.
That's it. A lot of letters.
Well, this is the hometown of the late, great Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
That's
right?
it.
So, you know, just simple letters, C and T.J. We got it.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense.
There's a lot of things in football that are so simple you can't believe it.
You mean like A, B, C?
Proper 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got it.
So the Stretch Armstrong play that Mike fingered a lady in a car forcibly Tirico is trying to make is that because they're talking about T.J. Watt, T and J are letters, and they're talking about the C gap.
C is also a letter.
Last time I checked. Mm-hmm. That he's going to somehow work in that Mr. Rogers is from Pittsburgh. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
No, I'm still not getting it even when you explain it like that.
It's an educational show
because there were letters involved.
Letters, and they would teach you numbers on Mr. Rogers' neighborhood in addition to how to be a kind person,
which is not even what Mr. Rogers was really about.
No, but
yeah, that was more Sesame Street, teaching letters and everything. But the whole. It sounded like Collinsworth. You know what? I'm going to try and support my partner here.
That's why I want to wind this back a little bit because the way I hear it, the second he brings up Mr. Rogers, Collinsworth goes, "What?"
Yeah, he says, "What's that?"
In this play, he loops down inside. He has it covered. So there you go. C-gap. You love it?
C and TJ.
That's it. A lot of letters.
Well, this is the hometown of the late, great Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
What's that?
What's that?
What's that? What the fuck are you talking about?
What? I'm just,
And it's funny
I
because
just explained the C gap to you.
but for time purposes, when he brings up the Mr. Rogers point, an entire play happened. Okay.
Yeah.
So a play happened,
Yep.
and Tirico revisits it like 45 seconds
Yeah.
later. That's why Collinsworth goes, "What's that?"
He
Well,
had
we were done.
Mr. Rogers
With
written
fun
down on
with
a
letters.
Mr. Rogers on a post-it note that was next to his call sheet or his spotting board, whatever. He's like, "This might be the best shot I get." We're talking letters. I've got to bring up Fred Rogers now.
Jeez.
Yeah, Danny cut this part down of just Collinsworth disinterested.
Can you explain that C-gap deal there with TJ over there?
Yeah. So
He didn't want to.
Yeah.
A little quick Tomlin here
So-
from halftime. By the way, is he complete
So-
Teflon?
Mike Tomlin?
Like he kind of lived through the closest he's come to the hot seat a couple years ago, right?
Everybody
you
loves
just-
him.
You just keep kind of being at least average, no matter what they put around you. Yeah, I like Tomlin. I don't know that I'd want him coaching the Cowboys.
What quarterback did they draft that failed? Was it just Rudolph?
Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. That's right. Tiny
Yeah,
hand
small
Kenny Pickett.
hands.
Yeah. That was the first round, right?
First or second, but Pittsburgh kid.
Yeah, that's right. You know, didn't play in his bowl game.
Mm.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying. Huh?
He also
Guy cared
was,
about ball, then
Yeah.
he was also the one that got the fake slide outlawed.
that was pretty badass.
He pulled it off perfectly.
Fake slide was a seminal moment of that college football season. Here's Tomlin at halftime with kind of a
Real
weird.
quick, Pickett was the first quarterback off the board.
There you go.
I remember him being like a big deal, and then everybody came out and they're like, his hands. Tomlin has a bit of a dirty sound here.
Mike, another slow start on offense. How do you get it going in the second half?
You know, we got to stop kicking our own butt. No disrespect to the Cowboys, but one of those drives got stalled by, 2 pre-snap penalties. We had a fumble that killed us in terms of field positioning in another series. And so if we stop kicking our own butt, we can start focusing on theirs.
We need to focus on the Cowboys' butt.
I think it would have been better to say we can start kicking theirs.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like him here?
I don't know.
Because he's boring?
Yeah, he's just. I think he wants to grind it out.
Yeah, but we were talking about this.
I want young offensive innovator. I want somebody that's going to see what they got here and what can I do with it. I want someone to see Trey Lance and go, okay, what could I do with this? Can I do something? I've got a talent. How can I work that in?
Yeah, but he might say, Trey Lance, you suck. You're off the team.
But
Maybe,
here's the
but-
thing. A team that's coached by Mike Tomlin, which is why he could never coach here, would never trade a pick and $5 million for Trey Lance. That would never happen. So that's part of it, too. You can't talk about situations where the Cowboys would have a coach who could speak up because it would never happen. By the way, I will tell you, people will tell you, like, hey, if you share your story about whatever you're going through, maybe it can help somebody else. And I've always been kind of like, I don't know. That seems weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I did think about, hey, I can do this every time I saw Mike McDaniel on the sideline. So I'm like, hey, this guy did it. 'Cause I think Thomas Dimitroff made him because they were finding – he was living at the facility and they were finding his bottles everywhere. I'm like, hey, Mike McDaniel. He can do it.
I never found one of your bottles.
Here, that's right.
I cleaned them all out.
Thank you, bud.
Yep.
Tirico loved this story.
But did you know Western PA has also given us some great coaches like Ditka? Look at all the wins from Marvin Lewis, Bill Cower, who did it in these parts, Mike McCarthy, and then Chuck Knox and Marty Schottenheimer among the coaches from this Western Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, and a lot of different ethnic neighborhoods, and it created this naturally competitive environment. And I think that's what you saw out of all those quarterbacks and those coaches. You're used to just going out and going, all right, let's go to work here.
I'm going to read between the lines here and say that people from Western Pennsylvania got really good at football and coaching because they were so racist they couldn't handle losing to a
So you got the Mexican part. They hate the black part.
I am not
They hate
about to give up 150 on the ground to the Jewish community.
That created the
I will work
competitive
day and
environment.
night for a scheme to keep these drunk Irish kids from running all over my boys, the Protestants or the Catholics. Yeah.
Sounds to me like Tirico was so excited about that package focusing on Western Pennsylvanian players and coaches and handed it off to Collinsworth for comment, who really didn't give a shit.
No, he didn't.
A lot of ethnic neighborhoods, and you just gotta go to work.
Here's a place in the country where it's pretty racist, and I'll be the last thing I do is lose to a bunch of black kids. We created football here in the white north.
Right.
Wow. Here's orgasmic Tirico.
All those black and gold uniforms. Landon Roberts over there as well. Let's see.
I think it's a Landon Roberts who's going to take a running start.
Oh, what a play.
And just time it perfectly.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievable. The odds of actually making contact on that play flying through the air is so remote.
Look where he started, Chris.
We saw this a little bit in practice. This guy gets put in on the goal line to run and dive kamikaze style and hit that ball on the butt.
That's all over a replay.
It was pretty awesome.
Pretty good play.
But
Pretty
he went
good play.
on. He starts sounding like Norm.
Well, it sounds like so typically you'll hear color guys that will be make the guttural consonant sounds while the play-by-play dude's describing what's the action is.
Yeah.
The roles were reversed there, and you got Collinsworth breaking down this entire replay, and Tirico has nothing to offer but sex sounds.
Here's a little bit of it again.
All those black and gold uniforms. Landon Roberts over there as well. Let's see.
I think it's a Landon Roberts who's going to take a running start.
Oh, what a play.
And just time it perfectly.
Tirico, can you get your hand out of my crotch, please? I'm trying to drive away.
Actually making contact on that.
That's
Mike.
one right there. That's
I
like
said
the
no.
shake. That's like he's shaking it off.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
That's really good.
thank you, Rob. Here's a quick montage Danny made. We've talked about this before, but when you really look out for it, Danny pinpointed from CC.
So in the first half, opportunity right here. You're going to see a guy.
Oh, a guy.
See a
open
guy.
Space in behind the defense. I mean, it is impossible to watch this team on tape and not look at number 13. He is just that guy. He's the TJ Watt of this defense already. Overshown as one of those guys that just looks like lightning out on the field. Give him some credit. There's some guys on the back end. Donovan Wilson.
He loves the guy.
Loves guys.
He loves resetting the fact that we're watching football players and they all have cocks.
That's right. In my America,
They're dudes. They're guys.
That's right. Do you guys know who was on at halftime? You probably saw this, right? Even if you weren't watching, listen to the audio.
Bow wow,
Oh, Snoop?
wow, yippee yo,
The
yippee
president of NBC Universal, Calvin Snoop Dogg.
He was on a lot in the pregame running around.
Well, if you recall, he basically carried Olympic coverage to the bill of, I think we heard $500,000 a day.
Yeah, doggy dog world.
Was it $500,000 a day or 50,000 a day? Last night we were saying 50,000.
No, dude, I'm pretty sure. Let's get this right, because
That makes more
not
sense.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's for a whole day for Snoop.
Yeah.
Snoop ain't getting out of bed for $50,000, bro. No way.
He made overall $9 million.
God almighty.
Sweet.
And paid
D-O-double-G is in the house.
paid no expenses. And he's also now, maybe he's been on it before, but they're pimping him pretty hard in the promos for The Voice.
This is the first season that he's
been
judged.
on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the promos are built around him and Michael Bublé.
They're the two new additions.
Michael Bublé's on the. Oh, can I have my own Kim spin now? For rehab?
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah. I was thinking about
Put him on there?
I was thinking about it a lot when I was there.
Jake as a
Yeah.
Kemp spin.
That podcast guy went to rehab for a month.
Yeah.
For
I
booze.
want, I want that one. Do you remember my Michael Bublé note?
No.
It's great.
When he was the All-Star game, the NHL All-Star game was in whatever Canadian town he's from, but I don't remember which one. And he was supposed to do some sort of press conference with someone from the NHL. And I think he was performing also. And he got up there and was like, I got to be honest. My friend told me I was microdosing, and I took way too many mushrooms before this press conference.
He's a Vancouver kid.
Gained a lot of respect for him that day because his songs are very gay.
You are Kim Spin number 517.
Hell yeah. I want a plaque.
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Hey, Rob,
You'll
producing
never
on
get
the
me.
fly, I just texted you something that I might need for viewer mail. Sorry.
So yeah, Snoop, Michael Bublé, they're showing him in the crowd. He's unlike Lil Wayne. Snoop is a Steelers fan and only a Steelers fan. Lil Wayne will hit you with the Packers, the Patriots.
Snoop Dogg will do the same thing.
Yeah, keep in mind, he's not from Pittsburgh.
I know he's a
originally,
Lakers fan.
right?
Yeah, no, of course
Yeah.
not.
He's
Long
from the LBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody put out on Twitter just him
In various.
Yeah.
10 different jerseys. It's kind of the Micah Parsons of
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I've always identified him as Steelers guy.
Okay.
Some others you might have more of a Micah type thing. So he was on at half, which is just a pimp piece for The Voice.
Because my Paris pal from the Olympics, Snoop, is back in the house.
In the
Snoop,
house.
It is good to see you. Every place I go, people stop me and say, I loved Snoop at the Olympics.
Hey, Mike, it's good to be seen, man. The Olympics was a beautiful thing for me to be there with you and along with all of the athletes and the families in different countries. It just represented peace and love, and that's what I'm all about. So I was happy to be able to show the world that that's who I am.
With Martha and Michael and the whole gang. Now you're here in part because you love the Steelers. Where did it start for you?
70s, early 70s, watching the game, 1974. 3-year-old baby falling in love with the Steelers, and then watching it in 75, 76, and then seeing the Mean Joe Green commercial. And like every kid that's seen that commercial, I wanted Mean Joe to throw me his jersey.
That's right.
So I can give him my soft drink.
That's why it's so cool to see the Steelers and the Cowboys here tonight. Two of those great brands. I've loved you on The Voice. It's been a lot of fun with Michael Bublé and Reba and Gwen. What's it been like for you? You brought a little sports feel
I
to
did.
The Voice.
I brought some of my football coaching tactics to The Voice, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like each player should be coached, you know, differently skill set wise, and I felt like that's some things I learned on the football field. So I wanted to bring that to the football field as well as to the, you know, to the voice set to make sure I could have some coaching from on field, on screen, on set to make everything beautiful.
Well, check it out. Mondays and Tuesdays, The Voice on NBC. I'll give you a little hint. There's a surprise guest on The Voice tomorrow night. So
It
check
is a surprise?
Just check it out. Great seeing you, Snoop.
Love you, Mike.
Love you, Mike.
Mike.
Does he really love Mike?
No.
So basically, he was a kid and he was a front runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just stuck
like
with
every
it
kid
for the most part.
Yeah.
Who's the best team in the NFL? Oh, it's the Steelers?
Yeah.
I'm going to follow them.
However, as I've said before, and people get mad at me, I wish that I could have grown up like a Steelers or an Eagles fan. It just seems cooler.
Back then, I guess I get it because not every team was on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Which is why there's like a lot of Cardinals fans around here, right?
For sure, Braves and Cubs were about all that. I know you were the same way that I watched.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of get this, but it's still pretty annoying.
And then let's go to the videos because I think that's all the audio we're going to play. Do we have some videos?
Yeah. You want to do, let's see.
I say whatever you want, Big Chief.
Well, yeah, play them in order. Hitting the effing nuts. Play this one. Tyron Smith commenting on the Tyler. Sorry, my bad. Tyler Smith commenting on the Tolbert catch and what happened.
It's okay.
I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, bro. I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, JT literally sprained his nuts. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Sprained his nuts the play before it comes back, makes the game winner. Unbelievable. Extended play. I mean, that's guys playing above the 2.3. Dudes emptying the clip. I mean, it was great stuff.
What about for Reed?
Okay.
What? Sprained his effing nuts.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, excuse me. Sprained his nuts.
Best part.
Can you strain your testicles?
Sprain. Not strain. You can definitely strain.
Oh, yeah. Sprain. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Maybe he meant strain?
Tried sprained his effing nuts.
I looked up sprained nuts, and it auto-corrected it to strained and tried to direct me to websites that your roommate might have been into. No, it changed it to drained nuts.
Drained nuts.
That was the problem.
That's right.
Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry. The show got dirtier since Jake got back.
Hey, now. Dusty's ready. expect testes. What's the next one? Do we want to do the other one?
This is just the post game in the locker room, and Dak has a surprise for Coach.
Hey, we'll give you the schedule. We'll get you the schedule on the plane. Hey, guys, great job. What a hand. Keep banging. Yeah. We talked about this thing coming down to the end. Yeah. 3-0. 3-0. 3-0 on the road. Hey, yeah.
Clarify.
Hey, where's my general at? Curly, where you at?
Real quick, no General McCurley, but everybody knows we're in Pittsburgh. We don't give game balls often, but my man back here.
Bring it down.
Let's go.
Still doing How About Them Cowboys?
Cowboys on 3.
Listen.
1, 2, 3. Cowboys! Yeah! How about the Cowboys?
Oh, God, that's gross. We're
He
doing
had never won in Pittsburgh
interesting.
First time.
with the Packers or anything, yeah.
We're doing How About Them Cowboys after a week 3 eke out win over another, or week 5 eke out win over another average team. Like,
Yep. That's storming the field.
devalued that to
We're
this
storming the
point.
field.
Oh, man. So that's the Cowboys.
When you do look at their upcoming schedule, and if you think the Cowboys have any chance at all of getting into the playoffs, last night was fucking huge.
The season would have been over.
Huge.
I mean, I know it's an AFC game, so it's not against your division opponent, but the season I think would have been effectively over.
And the narrative on Dak,
oh yeah,
if Tolbert drops that ball or Dak overthrows him and they lose that game,
yeah,
it is a 180 from everything you read. Dak overcomes 2 interceptions to end up a hero at the end of the game. The other side of that would have been, why are we paying this guy $250 million? It's amazing that just
they really need to get 2 of the next 4 at least to stay afloat. Fortunately, the Eagles are in complete disarray. That helps, but that's balanced out by the fact that Washington pulled their head out of their ass. That's why I really think if they go get Devontae Adams and they just start throwing the ball, try to become a supercharged offense, that's their only chance of their defense being good. Because then perhaps they will play with the lead, and eventually Micah and D-Law will be back and they can get after the quarterback again. But right now, very boring.
Hey, viewer mail today is going to be brought to us by Early Bird CBD gummies.
Ooh, yeah. The good.
They are not the regular, you've probably tried CBD, or if you have in the past and been like, hey, CBD, it doesn't really do much for me. These have THC in them.
That's right.
So they are a recreational hemp product. So
they must be illegal.
In fact, one of my guys at the watch party last night, we had a couple of bags of these, and we just passed them out. One of the guys like, they drug test at work. And that's right.
He knows the deal.
If they drug test you at work, Early Bird CBD is not for you. But if you like to take the edge off at the end of the night, long day,
sure.
Then they are formulated with a microdose of THC, and they are designed to make you feel good.
And they do. You want to relax, maybe a little before you head out with some friends, lube up the conversation a little bit with some Early Bird. You can do that at earlybirdcbd.com, and you can get 20% off with the code DUMBZONE. DUMBZONE, all one word. And, they're an Austin company. Look at us just supporting all these, or being supported by and being friendly with all these Texas.
We're just all about Texas.
That's right. That's exactly right. So put a smile on your face, take the edge off, earlybirdcbd.com. Use the promo code DUMBZONE. These are legit.